What's up, everybody? Today is May 31st. It's a beautiful sunshiny day, nice breeze. It's a little warm, but that's all right, we can live with that. Today I'm back at Calvary Catholic Cemetery in Midland, Michigan. The old Calvary Catholic Cemetery, I should say. And in the background there you can see my hoist. Did some work on that a couple weeks ago, cleaned that headstone, and today we are going to be deconstructing it and cleaning it some more and then putting it back together. Only we're gonna make it a lot straighter when we put it back together. So let's quit wasting time. Let's get to work. All right, guys, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start deconstructing this thing. I'm gonna lay it all out over here next to the foundation on some blocks of wood so I can clean them up a little more. And then we're gonna pick this foundation up and lay some gravel and get it nice and level. So first thing we're gonna do, pick this big piece off the top and slide that little piece off the foundation. Alright, the first thing I see here is there's absolutely no mortar in this joint. So there was nothing to keep these two pieces from separating, and doesn't look like there's anything under the next joint either. So there we go. So now the next thing we're going to do, lift this piece up. We're going to throw some river rock underneath it, get it leveled, get it situated right, and then we'll start cleaning everything. I gotta go get the rigging out of my trailer. That's a big piece. Okay, so I've moved the top piece of the headstone over just a little bit because I'm going to lift this up and drift it over so that I can get some gravel laid out in that spot. It's important to know how much these pieces you're lifting weigh, because you need to understand the capacity of your equipment, as in the hoist, and the capacity of your rigging, as in your chain fall and your straps. So this is a piece of sandstone. It's probably, I'm figuring, about 8 cubic feet. So give or take, that's probably 800 to 900 pounds, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. It's just kind of a ballpark. I know what my rigging is good for. It's good for a lot more than that. I know what my hoist is good for. It's good for a lot more than that. So anyways, let's get this moved over, then we'll get things cleaned up and get some gravel laid out, and we'll start putting this back together. Okay, so there's that. I'm gonna go and get a shovel and dig a little bit of this out and square it up so that it's square with the rest of the stones in the row, and then we'll put some river rock down here. Alright, so I don't know if you'll be able to hear this or not, but it does seem that there are some field stones, or maybe even a foundation. Actually, it looks like it might be a concrete foundation down there. And it looks like it is very tilted. So, oh, there's some busted up rocks and some other stuff in there. So, I think the best course of action here is to leave as much of that down there as we can. And yeah, I think they put some rocks down there and then they poured a thin thing of concrete over it. So I might end up taking some of this dirt out, and then I'll put some of that river rock down. That'll be a good bed for this to sit on. and then it should be good and stable. There, that will allow for some drainage to happen underneath the stone. Hopefully it won't wash away any more of that dirt. It won't make this tip anymore. So let's move this back over and we'll set it back down and see what it looks like. Going to check and see if it's straight with the rows. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Now I've got this what's called a post and pipe level. It's a really handy little tool. It's got a level on each side. I'm going to set this right on that foundation, and then we'll level it up. Okay, now set her down and see what it looks like. Okay, well, that's looking pretty good right there. Nice and straight with the row. And this is nice and level where that bottom piece is going to sit on this. So now we'll just mix up some Orvis soap and some water. We'll give everything a quick wash down, let it dry for a little while, go get something to eat, and then come back and start putting her back together. Still a little bit of live growth on here, even though I treated it with D2 once before, about a month ago. It's going to need another treatment once we get it all put back together. So. There it is. We'll just put this guy up on these wooden blocks and go get some lunch. When everything dries off, we'll start putting it back together. All right, wait for it to dry off. Okay, so they had a crew come in here and mow, so I already got a little bit of this work done. I got some mortar mixed up, and I got it out here on this foundation, on this base, and just wetting it down so it doesn't dry up super fast. And now it's time to set this small piece up on there. I'm gonna make sure we got the name facing the right way and that we don't have any dirt or grass under there. Just gonna lower it down on there. Kind of work it around so we see that mortar start popping out. A little bit coming out the back right now, and the last thing I want to do is let that dry on there. Off of there before it dries. Once that excess mortar dries, that stuff that's kind of flowing out, it will not come off of there. It like etches that stone, so important to make sure you use plenty of water and rinse it off before it dries. This is a method that has worked well for me, one that I was taught by a lady down in Union City. And works really well. Okay. Now we're ready to put that next piece on. Just gonna check and make sure that this piece that we just set on is level. Looks wonderful. Couldn't get it any closer if I tried, probably. So now we're just going to mix up a little bit more of this hydraulic lime mortar, and we'll put some on top of that. We'll lift and set the headstone on top of that piece there. So I'm going to shut the camera off, mix up some mortar, and then bring you back and show you how that kind of goes, since you missed it the first time. Alright, well, I adjusted the brightness on my camera as best I can. Maybe actually, let me try this. Maybe if I put the sun behind the camera, maybe that's a little better. Okay, so now I've mixed up my hydraulic lime mortar. I'll show you here. And I went pretty thin with it this time. That last batch I did was a little too dry. The original mix, I ended up adding some water to it there, and that worked out pretty good. So this stone has kind of like this flat square area here. We're just going to kind of trowel it out somewhat close there. As long as it's wet enough, it will squish out when you set the stone on there. Okay, got it rigged up. Setting her up right now. The side this strap is coming off of right here. This side is the front. So that's why I like those wheels. Okay. Start coming down on it. So it just touches. Here we go. Make sure she's on there the way she's supposed to be. Lots of stuff drifting off the sides here. That's good. Alright. And there it is. It's standing back up straight. All we gotta do is clean up some of this excess here. There it is. Now this stone has a cross that belongs on top of it. It's missing a large chunk, so I'm going to play around with it. Try to figure out the best way to repair that. But that's it. That's done. That's standing back up straight the way it should be. The only thing I'm going to do to this after maybe tomorrow, I'll come over and I'll do a little bit of gray infill on those mortar lines so they kind of blend in a little bit more. But that's it. She's standing nice and straight and tall, the way it should be. And I know Bill and Tom will be happy along with the rest of their family. So, alrighty, that's it. Well, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, leave me a thumbs up. Share it with all your friends. If you're not subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss anything else just like this.